Blackout Liberty presents Gender Slayer, slaying lies in the headlines.
Hi, I'm Jen the Slayer, slaying the lies in today's headlines. Stop what you're doing. If you're distracted, I need your attention. I have some important, mind-blowing information that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, and you don't want to miss it. I'm going to be talking about the fourth industrial revolution. And for some of you who don't know what's going on with this fourth industrial revolution, let me explain to you something. The revolutions that has taken place prior to this current revolution, this industrial revolution that is happening, had to do with technology upgrade around us. So technology in the sense of cars and electricity, computers, phones, all of those good things had to do with the first three industrial revolutions. The difference with this industrial revolution, this fourth one, is that the technology that's being revolutionized, the technology in the center of this fourth revolution is the human being. And this technology, my friend, will mark the end of the human age through this actual revolution. And so what a lot of people don't know is, what people don't understand is this revolution is about pretty much turning the human being into a robot. They want to be able to merge technology with the natural man, and through that, we become part robot so that they can connect us to their apparatus, their technological apparatus, and have total control over humanity. And so a lot of what's been going on in 2020 with CV19, the lockdowns, the facial coverings, all of that had very much to do with this fourth industrial revolution. And none of that happened by happenstance. This was all planned. And this whole pandemic, the scandemic is what I call it, was pretty much planned so that they can start the actual industrial revolution they've been planning for so long. Some 40 years ago, it's been pretty much being worked on so that it can be what it is today. The only bad side to it is the fact that it's happening while we're alive. So I'm going to get into all the details of this industrial revolution, but it is not going to be it's not going to be good for us. You know, it's going to be positive for the people that are pushing it because they're going to be in total control over humanity through this fourth industrial revolution to every little detail of humanity. But we're going to lose everything that makes us who we are. So the things that we take for granted, like marriage, relationships, hanging out with friends and starting a business and going to college, like a lot of these things that we pretty much feel like we're always going to be able to do, like own property and cars and so forth. By the time this fourth industrial revolution is fully implemented, all of those things that we take for granted and we experience will be gone. So you understand that. We're not going to have these freedoms anymore. And so if we continue to comply with the government and their orders to shut us down, and we just continue to do everything that they tell us to do, and we don't resist, we don't say no, they're going to fully be able to realize this fourth industrial revolution that is currently starting. And so you understand, I look at a lot of people's timelines on social media and their posts, and they're talking about how they're excited for 2021. It's going to be their best year. They're going to make a strong comeback from 2020. But let me tell you something. The way we're headed with this fourth industrial revolution, we're going to be dreaming to get our tails back in 2020 after what we experienced by the end of 2021 with what they're planning for us with this fourth industrial revolution. We will beg for a day in 2020 after what we're going to go through next year. Okay. And especially with this President Biden, who stole the election, and, you know, it was planned for him to be president. He needs to be president in order for them to keep carrying out the evolving of this fourth industrial revolution. So it's necessary that he is president. He's planning to already. He already told us when he's president, he's going to lock us down again. He's going to shut down the country. A dark winter is coming. Like, it's not something that they're hiding. This is going to take place, and it's necessary that it takes place. I'm going to explain to you more and more why they're shutting us down, why they need to keep us from having a thriving economy where everyone's making money and business is flowing like it used to. It's necessary, and they're doing it on purpose. So you complying and doing what the government tells you to do is not going to work to your advantage. At some point, we have to say no to what's going on, because guess what? We are greater than they are. But they understand that under certain circumstances, like a scandemic or pandemic, where you're afraid for your life, people are willing to give up freedoms and listen to a small group of people, even though they have the power to say no. They are saying yes as though they're greater than we are. And they're not. But it's in our minds. We feel that they're greater than us, and so we comply, and that's how they know they'll have complete control over us and will continue to have control over us to carry out this fourth industrial revolution to its finality. And like I said before, this is not going to be good for us the way we're heading right now. The Dr. Evil, the culprit behind this fourth industrial revolution, he's the guy that's been working on it since the 70s. It existed before the 70s, of course. They've been working on this for a long time. But he more recently, in the 70s, started really realizing it and working it out to really see that it actually takes place. So Klaus Martin Schwab, he's kind of like the poster boy behind the fourth industrial revolution and the face of it. He is a Marxist, and he's the founder and executive chairman for the World Economic Forum. And he authored this book called Shaping the Future of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, where he spells out the entire plan for this industrial revolution that's currently taking place. And it's broken down into 5 parts. You have the Great Reset, the Internet of Things, robotics, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. And so in this book, it's detailed how this fourth industrial revolution will take place. And so you understand, Klaus Martin Schwab, he is the founder of the World Economic Forum. And the World Economic Forum is pretty much, if you look at their mission statement, they're committed to improving the state of the world by engaging business, political, academic, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. And every year they meet up, the World Economic Forum. So they're committed to this globalization. They take all the industries, business, agriculture, everything, and create a whole global system. And they're working endlessly, day after day, to see that this globalization, this new world order takes place, so that a small percentage of people, 0.001% of people, will rule over the masses in a global way, not just country to country, but everyone under the rulership of a small group of individuals that are global elites. And so they meet up every year at the Davos event. It's a huge annual meeting where billionaires and heads of states and multinational corporations and celebrities, like, they all meet up. You got Donald Trump, Joe Biden, like Leonardo DiCaprio, some of the biggest people in society gather to this annual meeting, and to discuss how they pretty much are planning to turn us into robots and rule over us. And so, yeah, they take this stuff pretty seriously. And I'm going to cut to a clip of Dr. Evil himself speaking on all that he is currently doing to us and will continue to do to us in this fourth industrial revolution. And you'll notice as he speaks, he talks about it as though it's like this great thing and it's so awesome. And they try to present it in this positive light as though it's helpful for us, when really what's really taking place is that they're having full control and dominance over all of humanity through this final revolution. It's very sickening. And the thought that people actually think about this kind of stuff and enjoy the fact that they get to rule over human beings and control them and turn them into subhumans and robots is downright crazy and sickening, and like you have to be a serious psychopath to even desire it, let alone work so much to make sure it happens. Like, but the sad thing is, like I said before, it's not a matter of something that they're still working on doing. It's already started. And so 2020 is an example of the start of this, all the devastation we've gone through. This is the fourth industrial revolution at work. So let me let you listen to Dr. Evil himself, because that's literally what they call him. Like, people call him Dr. Evil because he's crazy. He wants to destroy everyone. And he's very happy about it, and he's very bold about it too. He has no shame, like, because they're not hiding it at this point. It's all in our face, because right now it's time for them to run with it. And they can't have anyone stop them. No presidents, nothing. And so they have everyone in place. They got Joe Biden. They got all the world leaders in place that they need to make this go down. And it's going down. Okay, so let's take a look at Klaus Martin Schwab's disgusting plans for us to destroy us, pretty much.
The fourth industrial revolution will impact our lives completely. It will not only change how we communicate, how we produce, how we consume. It will change actually us, our own identity.
Okay, so you heard that. He says this fourth industrial revolution will not change the way we communicate and how we exist. It's going to change actually us, our identity. And so this goes back to what I was saying earlier with the core goal in this revolution is to alter the human being. And they have a very well thought out plan on how they seek to carry this out. They want to get humanity to the point where we are no longer just natural beings. They want to plug us into the damn computers. Okay? And so they have to be able to add technology to this biological form in order to do so. And so you understand how they are doing it. I did a show on this, and if you follow my videos on this channel, you'll see a show where I talked about the CV19. CV19, if for some of you who don't know what I'm referring to, it's the pandemic that happened earlier this year, but I'm using the term CV19 to describe it because I don't want to upset any of the algorithms and have any censorship on my speech. So I'm going to be calling it CV19 for the duration of the show. And then when I refer to the thing that they have to, inject us with for the CV19, I'm going to call it elixir. Okay. So I did a whole show on the elixir, and I talked about the purpose of the elixir. And so if you go onto the website for Moderna, who invented the elixir for CV19, they talk about how it has mRNA in it. And this mRNA, literally what it does is it goes into your DNA, and it's like a messenger to your DNA, but it sends in a message that they coded. And what that message does is it goes into all the cells in your body and adds the new information in it, so that ultimately it changes our entire internal composition, so that the goal is to separate the human body from being able to connect with our spirits that's in our body. Okay, so it's not like our spirit leaves our body. It's just a separation from our spirit and body, where we cannot connect with our spiritual side. Like the spirit inside of us is separated from our actual body. And the reason why they need to separate the two is because they want to be able to control our spirits. And through this elixir and the nanotechnology, be able to plug us in to the machine. Like, it's a very well thought out, complicated process that required a lot of work and technological development to be able to take something human and link it and merge it and make it one with something robotic. That's like near impossible, but they figured it out. And they're using this transformation of our cells through this mRNA to be able to do so. Okay. And so that's why they're so excited. For them, it's like this revolutionary thing that they finally been able to merge humans with the machine. Like, to them, it's like, it doesn't get bigger than that, because we're like the greatest technology, the hardest technology to hack, and they have finally figured it out. But they needed to have an excuse to get enough people to be willing to put something in their bodies and not realize what it's really doing, but put it in their bodies because they think that it's accomplishing something else. So a lot of people want to make sure that they are safe from CV19, so they want to take this elixir to protect themselves. But they don't know that the elixir has nothing to do with protecting from CV19. It's all about getting this nanotechnology in the body so they can separate the body from the spirit and take control. That's the goal. But they have to disguise it under something that seems noble in order to get us to comply. Okay, so that's the whole reason for the scandemic of CV19 that's been taking place. The goal is the fourth industrial revolution. Hack the human being, merge him with the machine. And so let's keep listening to Dr. Evil speak and spew out his venomous plans to destroy us and rule over us as God. It's almost like watching like one of these like superhero movies where you got this crazy villain that wants to take over the world, and you know, people have to fight him and destroy him. Like, literally, he is like one of those characters in those movies. And it's like the truth is even stranger than fiction. Like, and so you hear about this stuff and it almost seems like ridiculous when I'm saying it. Sounds like I'm talking about like a story for a new like post-apocalyptic movie or superhero movie. But no, in real time, this is literally what they are doing to us. And so, you know, a lot of people are running in line to take this elixir, and it's like, you need to think twice before you put this. In fact, don't take it. I'm telling you right now, like, it's not what you think it is. What they're telling you they're putting in you is not what they're putting in you. They have a real evil, sick, demented goal from these elixirs, but they are tricking us. They're using this this whole fake plague to get us all to voluntarily allow them to put this technology in us, this mark of the beast technology in our bodies to control us. I mean, it's really scary, and it's unbelievable, but you know, this is what's happening. Like, there's no other way to put it. This is what they're actually doing. And if you really pay attention to everything that they put out there, because it's not hidden, you will see exactly the purpose for everything that's happened to us in 2020. So let's keep listening to what he plans to do to destroy us.
Of course, gives life to such policies and developments like smart traffic, smart government, smart cities.
So he's saying here that it's going to give rise to smart government, smart development, and smart cities. And so basically what this fourth industrial revolution will do, it's going to change the way we live our lives. And so first thing is, they won't allow humans to live in rural areas anymore. Everyone has to be moved away from the rural to the urban communities. And so they're going to be cramming mass populations into what they call smart cities. And in these smart cities, they'll be able to have 24-hour surveillance over everyone, Big Brother style, where they have complete control over us and we have zero freedom. And so it's similar to what's going on in China right now, but much worse. And so if you're in China right now, in the communist China, you have like military tanks riding in the streets. There's police officers walking around everywhere like it's a war zone, and they're checking IDs and cell phones, and you have checkpoints while you're driving. You can't even go to the grocery store to shop without getting checked at a checkpoint. Like, it is like military style over there, and the level of control that the government has over the people. I mean, there's cameras surveilling the people everywhere. They have facial recognition technology. Like, it is horrible in China right now, the way they are literally ruling that group of people in such a totalitarian imprisonment. And so what we see happening with them will happen not just in China anymore. It will happen throughout the entire world. Okay, so as nice as he makes it seem, and you look at the evil smirk on his face because he's so happy that they came up with this master plan and now it's finally being realized in this grandpa's generation because, he could die any day now. So can you imagine how excited he feels that he's finally seeing his baby come alive? Like, at the expense of all of us. They don't give a damn what happens to us. They don't care if millions of people die, or they don't care if we don't get to enjoy a good life anymore, the American dream, family, jobs. They don't give a damn about none of that. They care about their selfish, evil, wicked desires being fulfilled because they are baby-eating, Satanists, devil-worshiping sons of the devil that want to rule over us and take the place of God in our lives. And so that's their goal. They don't want us as humans to connect with God, like especially communism. Like they're so anti-God because guess what? When people understand and they realize, okay, there's a God that's above all humans, then they associate their rights with God. Like God determines what happens to me and how I live my life. He is the one who determines my freedoms and what I do and who controls me, not a human being. So what do? They're working on technology. You have scientists sitting before the Pentagon, and I'm attaching a link for that video to this video tonight. If you look in the description of the video, you'll see a gentleman before the Pentagon talking about technology that they developed to edit out the God gene from the human brain. So like they figured out a way to keep us humans from connecting with God. Like the part of our brains that connects with God, they figured out a way to block it. And this is through the technology that they're implementing right now with this elixir. And so they're boasting about it like it's this amazing thing. And it's like, we go to school and we go to college and they tell us there's no God. We evolved from primordial soup. But the whole time behind the scenes, these global elites and these scientists and these billionaires are working on technology so that we don't connect with this very God that they say is not alive. Okay? It's because they know he's alive and they don't want us praying to him or connecting with him and, asking God to help us against wicked, cruel, evil men like that. Because if we start seeking God, it's going to ruin their operations. God's going to put a wrench in it. So they understand all the different things that can create failure for their fourth industrial revolution. Because they've been trying to do this for a while now, and it's hard. So we're going to talk more and more about the things that's been stopping them from being able to fully realize this fourth industrial revolution and how they've accounted for that with what they're doing right now. Okay, so let's keep listening.
We'll see is that everything will be integrated into a ecosystem driven by big data and driven particularly by close cooperation also.
Okay, so as you said that they were developing an ecosystem that's going to connect everything to big data. And so this ecosystem is like the Internet of Things. Basically, like every single thing will be connected to the machine, will be connected to the internet and to this big data pool. And when I say everything, I don't think you understand. When I say everything, I mean everything, including like actually this. We will literally be attached and connected to the machine. Okay, not just our stuff anymore, not just our phones and our computers and our cars, but Jennifer, Cindy, Bill, Bob, all of us. We're programs now. And so I love how he puts it like it's such a cool thing. Like we're going to be so advanced, and he's trying to paint it as though it's like a great thing that they're doing when really they're seeking to freaking like destroy us, turn us into their property. Nothing is great about that. That's horrible. We're done. Like if we're not able to operate the way God created us as free, natural, free agents and human beings, then there's no point in being alive. But they're boasting about it because it's good for them. Because they get to, again, be the ones at the top controlling everything at the bottom as God. I hate this man. I truly do. He's a sick human being. He's crazed. He's demented. He's a psychopath. But these are the people, the global elites, that pretty much are ruling everything. They're in control. And the more we keep listening to them, guess what? They're going to be more in control and have more of their will done at our expense. So you decide if you want to keep complying with their orders, because there's a strong and horrible agenda behind it, and that's to destroy humanity.
Of governments, with business, civil society, and this revolution will come at a breathtaking speed.
Okay, so revolution will come at blaze-taking speed. This is important for them that this happens fast. It's not something that they want to move slowly, because one, they understand if they take too much time, people may start to realize what the hell's going on. Like, what's this about? And people are going to start like saying enough is enough and revolting against it and saying, no, I'm not going to listen to you and I'm not going to do what you say. So they know if they move quickly, use a pandemic to freak the hell out of everyone, get everyone all scared, keep pushing it in the fake news media that the numbers are increasing and keep the fear going, they can get as much people as possible to take this elixir to start this industrial revolution of the human being. They know if they move fast enough that it can be successfully accomplished without people recognizing, but because by the time they recognize, they're already been hacked. And so he's like, it needs to happen with breathtaking speed. Like if you go on Moderna's website, they even talked about how they have like a espresso machine that they developed that's 6 foot by 6 foot by 6 foot, literally. Like it's all 666 in what they're doing. Like they're total Satanists, and like it's like totally the mark of the beast. Like they don't hide this stuff. But like this espresso machine for the elixir allows like hundreds of people to be able to get this elixir in a given day, because they want it to happen really, really fast before people wake up, realize what men like them, these evil men, are really doing to us, and stop it. Because we truly do have the power to stop it, but we're not, because we just trust our government and we feel like if we do what they say, they have our best interests in mind. And the truth is they don't care for us. You know, and I don't know how bad it has to get for us to recognize that. But at this point, as a collective group of people, we're not waking up to what's really going on. We're just accepting whatever we're being told, and we're like blind sheep going to the slaughter, right into the slaughter of evil people like Klaus Martin Schwab, who feel so powerful because they could see that billions of people are like sheep following everything they say. Like it's unbelievable. It's sad that this is the case, but the reality is this is what it is. It's sad that we as human beings are willing to be puppets for the government like this and not put up a fight. Like, what happened to our fight? Like the founding fathers, like the people who started this country, they would not put up with individuals like this. They would not. They would resist. No, we're not doing it. But they know that we're in a generation where they're distracted by TikTok and all kinds of things like Instagram and social media. We're so blind and so caught up that it's happening right in our eyes, and it's like we're blind. We can't even see. It's as if they could literally dangle it right in front of our face all over the news, and we still wouldn't see it because we're just too distracted. We're too caught up. And they're happy with that because they know, like, look at him. For him, it's game over. We finally got the dumbest group of people who are so distracted, who are so trusting of us, to actually carry this out upon. We found the perfect group of people because they're not woke, they don't know what's going on, and we got them. I mean, and it's just unbelievable. Like they're not hiding this. So World Economic Forum put out 8 predictions for what we can expect by 2020 with this fourth industrial revolution. Let me back it up for you. So it says here, you will own nothing and you will be happy. So basically what they're planning to do is to make sure that we don't own things. We don't own property. We don't have a car. We don't own, I mean, it goes so detailed to the point where you can't even own like a toaster or a microwave. Like nothing, an apartment, nothing. Everything will be rented. And so they have several reasons for why they want us to own nothing. And, this whole bizarreness with them saying that we're going to be happy about it, that's their propaganda. They're trying to brainwash us to think it's a good thing. But what they're doing is, one, they understand, again, if we own nothing, we're less likely to put up a resistance, because truly we only fight for the things that we feel belong to us. We fight for our lives because we feel like it belongs to us, that no one has the right to take it. We fight for our children. We fight for our families. We fight for our property, our car. We fight for the things that belong to us because they are ours. Our hard sweat and tears brought this about. And so if they disconnect us with owning things, then we're less likely to fight for it when it's taken from us and stolen from us, to be honest with you. Because that's what they're doing. It's going to be a mass transfer of wealth away from the mass population to the small 0.001% of the global elites. They will take all of that property and all these assets and own it themselves. And so this is another thing that they're banking on. They're going to have a big payday by the end of this fourth industrial revolution because they're going to own everything. And look, you will be happy owning nothing. That's it. They're taking away all that we own. That's why I was telling you earlier when I said everything we know about how we do life and take for granted is going to be gone. This is what I'm talking about. And this is what they're working on right now. It gets much worse than this. Whatever you want, you'll rent, and it will be delivered by drone. So again, they don't even want human interaction. They're really trying to push separating human beings and keeping everything more digital, Zoom, no person-to-person contact. They don't want that. They don't want us to connect with other people. So they're going to have a lot more drone technology to deliver products to us, deliver things that we rent. If you want to use a stove or something stupid like that, you have to rent it and a drone will deliver it to you. No human contact. And so you see how they're using CV19 as a means to start separating all of us. Oh, you got to be 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet apart. It's all evil, 666 Illuminati, just evil stuff here. They choose the number 6 for a reason. They know that number. And so, but the goal is to keep us all separated. Again, they're very threatened by the idea that we can all say no and put up resistance and not do what they say. They need our compliance. We're too many. There's just no way these small groups of people, as powerful as they may be, there's no way they can get this accomplished without the masses saying yes and willfully doing it without a gun being pointed to your head. Just, I will do it. All they need is a little bit of pressure, maybe a little bit of rules here and there, restricting some of their comforts. And yes, they'll do it. And so that's the point. You will own nothing and you'll be happy. And you pretty much will, you'll be renting everything. Nothing will belong to you. This small group of individuals will own everything. Okay. And then they want to make sure we're not connecting with humans as much as possible. So now technology, drones, all this stuff is delivering to us products so that we never really need to go outside. Shopping will be delivered to us, our groceries, everything. And so that's why they're pushing for the shutdowns. They want us to get used to staying away from human beings. I mean, and that pretty much is what makes us humans, is our community and our interactions with each other. They want to put an end to that because they know together it's a problem for what they're doing. They got to isolate us until we're all programmable through the implementation of this elixir. And then they have control over us because we're part machine now. Then they can probably start doing more with that. But until then, they got to keep us as isolated as possible so that we cannot come together and put an end to it. Okay. So another important thing that it says is the U.S. won't be the world's leading superpower anymore. A handful of countries will dominate. And you can see right here, China's right in the middle next to United States. So United States have been a huge problem for this fourth industrial revolution that they've been wanting to roll out. The fact that we are a superpower and that we're dominant over all the other nations has been a big monkey wrench in their operations. they've needed for some time to destroy our economy and weaken us as a nation in order to set up this new world order and globalize everything. Okay? And so shutting us down, hurting the economy, job loss, small businesses shutting down, people getting fired. All of this is planned. It needs to happen this way. And it's going to continue to happen until we're so broke that we're no longer a superpower anymore. You understand that? So that's why I told you 2021 is not going to be a better year than 2020. And by the time we're done, we're going to be wishing to come back to this year. I'm telling you that right now, because they're going to keep ebbing away at this economy until we're so broke that the gap between the very rich and the very poor is the only thing that will exist. They're going to wipe out the middle class. So the small business owner, you're the biggest threat right now to what they're doing, and they need to destroy us. So Biden coming out with all these high taxing for small business owners. If you make a certain amount of money per year, you get charged an exorbitant amount in taxes so that you can't even possibly function and hire employees. Like, all of that's done on purpose. It's not just because Joe Biden is for poor people and he's not for the rich. No, he's for everyone to be poor. He doesn't want us to have money at all. That's why he needed to be president. It was very planned. That's why all this stuff is going on with this election. And people think it's all about this emotional stuff and it's all love this. He's loving. Trump is just rude and mean. And no, it has nothing to do with that. He's using those emotional things, and the dummy would think that it's all about that. But really what it is this. Weaken the economy, destroy it so that the middle class is gone. All you have is the rich and poor, and you could finally globalize things. Get United States out of the way. That is the goal. And you know, he's in bed with China and Hunter Biden and all that stuff that's been going on. We found out more recently. So, you know, they're the corporate. They're selling out the United States to China right now. It's all part of the fourth industrial revolution. It all is starting to make sense, isn't it? Everything's starting to connect all the dots. Because this was nothing happened by surprise. This was all planned. And so, I mean, you won't die waiting for an organ donor. We won't transplant organs. We'll print new ones instead. So again, they are merging technology with the human being. And, you know, that's the goal. The goal is to not to take away our natural state and just put like robotic parts in our body, and they just want to turn us into their own creation. They're just hacking us to the point where we are no longer just natural beings. We are part machine. And so, you know, again, it sounds all pretty, but the goal is to control us. There's nothing pretty about what they're doing at all, and nothing noble about it. And the devil is always in the details. I'm telling you that right now. No matter how nice and how great they try to paint it, oh, it's going to help people from dying, and but it's going to steal everything that belongs to us, everything that makes us human, all our freedoms, all our property, everything. We'll be poor. We'll be relying on the government. We'll be in the bread lines, getting their UBP, their universal basic income, to survive, like they're doing in Cuba, where you stand in the bread lines. They're going to even ration off meat. Literally, you will eat much less meat. An occasional treat, not a staple for the good of the environment and our health. So basically, they're saying much less. That means you're barely going to be able to eat meat. You're only going to eat it as a treat when the government wants to treat you with meat. And they do this in Cuba. They give meat out to people when you've been good and you've behaved like a good doggy. Let's give you your treat. That's how they see us, like they're freaking dogs. Like, real talk. And if you know anything about meat is good, necessary for testosterone. They don't want people walking around with a lot of testosterone, because guess what? When you have a bunch of men full of testosterone that are angry, they're going to say, no, enough. We're not going to let you continue to do this. We're done. It's going to mess up their operations again. So they're going even down to our diet and how we eat to control us. Because they just want nothing but soy boys walking around that won't resist them. Okay? And so this is how crazy it is. And then they're saying for the good of the environment and our health. They're always deceiving us by acting like it's a good thing. And you know what? The average late person is going to look at that and be like, I like this fourth industrial revolution. This is good for us. They want to preserve wildlife. No, they don't. Wake up. This is the reason why we're in this situation we're in, because you're so easily deceived. You're so easy to believe what you're told and you don't dig deeper. And that's why they're going to win. We don't dig deep to the meat of what's going on, the details. And we're being deceived. We trust these government entities and these leaders so much. Why? I don't freaking know. I mean, maybe we've been indoctrinated through the education system that if we do what the authorities say, we're going to get an A and we're going to graduate and we're going to be successful. And they indoctrinate us. They play in our heads to think that this is the right way to be a good citizen by doing what you're told. Then the government will give you an A+. But what are you losing in the process? You're losing everything that makes you human. You're losing your generations, the wealth that you've developed, the ability to transfer wealth to your lineage. You're losing everything. And on top of that, they're going to turn us into damn robots that they control. And we're going to be freaking prisoners to these individuals, these global elite, evil, satanic, wicked people. This is the consequence. So ignorance, baby, is not bliss. Not in this case. I'm telling you that right now. 1 billion people will be displaced by climate change. We'll have to do a better job of welcoming and integrating refugees. So remember what I was telling you about the rural areas and how they're going to be removing people from all the rural areas into smart cities and cramming us like they're dogs into these overpopulated smart cities. So that's going to also include the people that are in like third world countries that live in like Amazon jungles and like Africa and stuff like that. Like they can't have anybody that's not in the control over the system that they've created. They can't have no one wandering on the outskirts. And guess what? They're going to be the only ones allowed in these rural areas to dominate. But everyone's going to be encased and imprisoned in these mass population smart cities. And so, but again, they're trying to act like you got to welcome refugees like it's some noble thing. And it has nothing to do with anything noble. It's all about their ability to control everything through this fourth industrial revolution and every single human being as well. They need to control every single human being. No one can be left out of it. And so they're going to lead with all these beautiful reasons, but it's really to imprison us. That's the goal, and that's what's happening as we speak. And if we don't wake up, I promise you guys, we are done, because it's already happening. It's already happening. So what do you expect? Something better to come? It's already happening. And you can be certain with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, we're done. Done. Game over. Completely. This is unbelievable. Polluters would have to pay to emit carbon dioxide. And there will be a global price on carbon. This will help make fossil fuel history. So they're getting rid of fuel and gas, and everything will be energy based. And what they're saying here with this whole, there will be a price on carbon. Like pretty much they're going so far as to say that we literally will have to pay taxes for breathing. So just because when we breathe, we inhale oxygen and we emit carbon, there's going to be a carbon tax now. So any carbon that comes out, whether it's through some other technology that releases carbon or even us human beings, we breathe out carbon. They're saying that we're polluting the air, so we're going to have to pay a tax for breathing. This is how crazy and demented and bizarre and sick this all is. This entire plan, it's unbelievable, but they're dead serious about it happening, and it is 110,000% going down. And right now, there is nothing I can look at that's going to stop them, because the way I see how we're operating as people, the way we're so willing to comply, that's the only thing that will stop them. And we just don't have enough balls to do it as a group. As a community of people, there's not enough boldness and courage to say no. And if we don't gather together in large groups and say enough is enough, there's no way to stop this. It's no way. Like they got the people in place to carry it out. They got the technology to rig elections. There's no looking back to where we used to be, where there were fair elections if ever there were. But all they gotta do is okay, we want so-and-so to be president now and so-and-so to be governor now and so-and-so to be governor now. And just rig it now. They have the software to just switch it and rig it and make sure whoever they want wins elections. Okay, so that's why a lot of you don't understand how important this election was that we just went through. It pretty much marked the end of us ever being free again. Because we don't decide who rules over us anymore. The machine decides it. And it will decide it based on who's best to help finish carrying out this fourth industrial revolution over us, to continue to hack us and give these global elites complete control over all of humanity. And so, I mean, this just goes on and on and on. So let's see. Okay, you could be preparing to go to Mars. Scientists will have worked out how to keep you healthy in space and start journey to find alien life. And so that's another thing that's important. I mean, this whole plan really should be broken up into two parts, because there's so much to share when it comes to what they're saying. Because again, everything they're telling you, there's so much behind it. And so this whole alien life and Mars, like, they need to keep pushing this like exploration into space, because there's a whole nother animal involved with this fourth industrial revolution, and it has very much to do with their antichrist, their Messiah that is supposed to rule over humanity as like God. So they're preparing the way for this fake Messiah to rule over us. And like this elixir is like, everything is written of in the book of Revelations in the scripture. Like, it's exactly what John the Apostle saw in the revelation that the Messiah, Jesus Christ, revealed to him, that this anti-Messiah, this fake Messiah, would rule over everyone, and we would all be caused to take a mark, and we wouldn't be able to buy or sell without it. Like, all this stuff is literally taking place. It's happening right before our very eyes. So whether you believe the Bible or not, there's no denying that what's going on here is exactly what John the Apostle saw in the book of Revelations, as was revealed to him by the Messiah, to the T. And so, you know, this alien life, they're talking about this alien life and exploration, because they're going to say that this anti-Messiah pretty much came from another planet, and he's here on Earth as God, and we need to worship him. And so, and this anti-Messiah is going to cause everyone to turn all this worship over to Satan. You know, it's everything that's happening is all spiritual. It's a spiritual battle between good and evil that's been going on from the very beginning. So, I mean, whether they use all kinds of different ways of trying to mask it, really, it's all about that. And these people are all Satan worshipers. They worship and they bow down to the evil one, and they seek to give him what he's always desired, which is to have complete control over humanity and have them worship him as God versus the creator, Almighty God. Like, he's lusted for God's place since the very beginning, and that's what this truly is all about. So it's all connected. Like, but they're gonna keep giving us these stories because they know that we're ignorant, and so they're gonna, you know, they taught us in schools for so many decades that there's no God. So if we don't believe in a God and we've allowed them to brainwash us, we can't even begin to understand what the purpose behind all this is if you don't even think there's a God in the first place. Then you won't even know that there's a devil and that he's fighting for control of humanity, and you can't connect the dots. That was the whole point of it. But eventually, they want to get rid of evolution too. And that's why they got to throw the whole alien theory in, and then have people worship this anti-Messiah so they can give that worship to Satan. That's the whole point of this. And so it's almost done here. They're talking more about, so Western values would have been tested to the breaking point. And so basically, like, this is what I was referring to with how they plan on taking away all the things that are normal to us, and things that we enjoy, our economy, our freedoms, the ability to have freedom to worship, religion, God, business, like all the things that we do without blinking or thinking, should I even have had the privilege to do this? Like, it's not a privilege for us. It's a right to enjoy going to restaurants and hanging out with friends and happy hour. They want to get rid of all that. And so they're like, Western societies in particular, we're going to be tested to the breaking point, because they're going to turn us into freaking like just third world country, poor peasants. But then they have to try to present it like we're we're going to be tested. No, you're going to make us poor so that you can rule over us. You're going to turn us into your dogs. And that's what they're going to do to us. And so these are all the things that they're planning to do with this fourth industrial revolution. And it's currently taking place. It is not a matter of maybe one day, 5 years from now. It is happening now, baby. And we are in big trouble. So the only thing I can tell you is we got to start putting resistance and saying no to these restrictions that they're putting on us, these lockdowns, and how they're trying to control us and force us and make us take these elixirs. We really do have to rise up as a community of people and say, we're not listening to the government. We're not doing what you say anymore. And that is the only way to stop this fourth industrial revolution from being fully realized. And until we're willing to do that, it is game over. This fourth industrial revolution marks the end of the human age, just like I told you.